I bet I drill a clean hole in somebody today.
My dad and my uncle always spent time with each other. They were like best friends growing up and everything. So he had a PlayStation 1 and he had Tekken 3. I was maybe 8 years old.
What character like caught your attention like right off the go?
Without a doubt, martial law. Only because my dad's a huge Bruce Lee fan, and that projected onto me. He showed me like Enter the Dragon and all other Bruce Lee movies, and I was a huge fan. Like I was hooked from the get go. As I started getting older, I always held those memories. And Tekken 3 came out, and then Tekken Tag. My cousin had Tekken Tag, and playing Tekken Tag was always the thing, and I would always choose martial law. He'd be like, "Oh, what are you cheating for?" I'm like, "Man, that's martial law, dog." So I was never really like one to 100% study every single thing, because I was just a kid. Playing the game meant a whole lot to me. It was fantastic. Trying to learn everything about the game.
How did you progress going into like Tekken 5 and like 6, Tag 2?
I had Tekken 5, I think, on PSP. I remember spending time going to school, getting there real early, and just grinding, just trying to get some new outfits, some new costumes. Man, it was just fantastic until, my dad broke my PSP into like 5,000 pieces, slammed it on the ground into a million pieces. It was hilarious thinking about it now, and then, he was like, I'll buy you a new one. And I was like, and I don't even want a new one at this point.
So when was it like your next time playing Tekken after that?
My cousins who I really enjoyed playing Tekken with, they had a PlayStation 2 and they had Tekken 5 and 6. Then I had my Xbox, and then I had the PC, and then I downloaded Tekken 7 because a few of my friends were like, "Hey man, do you play Tekken at all?" And it turned me on to the idea of playing Tekken again. There's just not another game back then that was like this. I don't want to sound like cliche or corny or anything, but just Tekken's just always been the game that I can just fall back on when I'm bored of other games. I'm 30 years old, bro. Started playing Tekken when I was 8. That's a 22-year disparity. Playing the game now, there's a lot of differences from what I remember growing up for it being. There's a lot more flashiness to this game.
And you think that's a good or bad thing?
The game kind of lost of a lot of its core audience, and that it's moved away from the quiet intensity of the martial art type of form game, and then also being like a thinking man's fighting game. And then it just kind of rewards you in almost like a money-driven kind of gotcha kind of game. Like what do you get from reaching Tekken God? That's no knock on you, obviously. So Tekken 3, that was like maybe one of the most immersive Tekken games that I could remember. At the end of Tekken Force mode, you can unlock Dr. B. That was awesome to have. This game doesn't reward you in that type of flavor. Where has the reward system gone? That kind of gets me angry as a Tekken player. Like playing this game, dude, you make one mistake, specifically this game, you make one mistake and you get like a 50 hit combo string on you, dude, and you're done. That's the end of the round. Playing 7, bro, it was just like, yeah, I made a mistake, and then we can still play the game away from not killing each other after that mistake, if that makes sense.
Basically an over punishment.
Exactly the point that I'm making. I shouldn't be punished forever. Like I shouldn't get to 10% health and then lose the game. Like, come on, man. Like there has to be some fight back type of mechanic. You just put your controller down, you're like, yep, I lost. It really shouldn't be that way.
Well, I don't know how much you played of season 1 versus season 2.
Oh, plenty. Yeah, I made Raijin with Law.
How did you feel about the reset? Did you think the reset was a good idea, or did you hate it?
It kind of makes me feel like I wasted my time just a bit, especially in the state of the game where it was at when it reset. It was just extremely difficult to climb back up and get those ranks back. I played a lot at the beginning of season 2. I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft and Gears of War. The other games kind of took me away because of the way that the beginning of season 2 patch took its course.
Do you feel like it was kind of uncool to play Tekken?
No, absolutely not. The only thing that made me feel uncool, man, I'm going to get made fun of in these comments, and some people are going to remember this. I posted a video in r/Tekken, and I didn't know how to counteract the Eddie. It's not like he kept spamming 1-1-1-1-1, right? There was a lot to his moves, and he would do like mid counters and whatnot. I got fucked up. I posted on our Tekken, and I was like, hey man, is this what this game's become? And everybody was like, why didn't you just block it? Blah, 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 blah. And it kind of made me feel stupid, right? I get it. Like, haha, good job to the toxic community of all video games. Obviously, hindsight's 2020, and you could point out what someone's doing wrong, and that's fine. When I'm playing the game, I'm not realizing these certain things. And is this really what the state of the game has become? Like, what am I supposed to do here?
Yeah.
The heat ability turns me off a little bit because it can connect the strings into a point where it's just like, how do you even combat that? Kind of just makes it a reliable source of just being like, hey, you're not really that good, but we're going to give you an edge up on the competition. It's a comeback mechanic. I don't think personally that that's fair. The gameplay that comes from it and the clips you get from it are great for content wise. Content creators, I think people love to have that type of comeback, right? And it gets millions of views so that Bandai Namco can get views on their game.
That's one thing that they talk about is like, you know, how they made this game like exciting to watch. Tekken 8 most recent tournament was like record breaking. It was bigger than Street Fighter. You know, a lot of these like cinematic heat, like enhanced attacks. I mean, one could contribute that to it, but I don't know if that's the full story because Tekken 7 was record breaking, right? Tekken 8 is just breaking the record 7 set, right? So one could argue that 8 would break the records regardless because Tekken's just like has momentum right now, and it's not necessarily all of the heat comebacks and flashy heat moves, you know?
It just doesn't make the game fun. You're just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna scrape this kid, and then it pisses you off when you're the one who gets scraped, and it just makes you kind of want to throw your controller against the wall.
Like you can tell that like all of the mechanics in the game is like doing the heavy lifting.
Like, how am I supposed to combat somebody who just uses heat and continues to thrive off of having the heat mechanic? There's a lot of law players who adapted. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of them, and that's okay. It does kind of hurt to see the game change in a way where it's like, damn, like I'm not even able to reach the heights that I did before, like, oh, how the mighty have fallen. It hurts my feelings just a little bit, but you look at players like Lou Streets, who is an awesome law player who I admire, right, who I look up to. If he's able to adapt to it, why can't I? And then that makes me look at myself like damn, I kind of suck then if I can't do that. There's a small portion of it that does have to deal with like the developers, you know, changing the game around a bit, but if you're really about that grind, if you're really about trying to rank up, if you're really like, I'm the shit and I'm the best, then
I get that aspect of it, but I also think that Tekken 8 requires a different type of gameplay to succeed, and a lot of people who's been playing for a very long time, they don't want to kind of like stoop to that level, right? They don't want to like be using heat more than they are their character, right? They don't want to be using all of these different busted mechanics to win, like installs. That's why a lot of people are not happy with this game, because if you want to succeed, you got to play Tekken 8, and people want to play Tekken, the martial arts, you know, what it used to be. And they don't want to like, you know, be summoning lights and heat and flying all over the screen. But that's what you got to do if you want to win, you know? You got to play like a maniac.
Yeah, you kind of got to exploit the mechanics. You know, you think of like Tekken Tag Tournament 1 or Tekken 3 or maybe even Tekken 4, right? You look at these games and it's just like, okay, it's not going to be never ending. Like, I have a chance to get up and fight this guy one-on-one without having to worry about him hitting a special move. You play against a Huarang, who I personally think deserves the most hate in this game, and it's just like, damn, like I can't even get up. I don't think anybody expected or wanted a battle pass or like, hey, you know, let me buy this character. You know, this is a legacy character. Let me get him. A lot of these companies are doing that. People don't want to play these types of games. And it's cool, right? Like when you add jiggle physics and, you know, the titty update to Tekken, that appeases to the male fantasy. Awesome. Get it. Cool. But even then, that shit wears off quick because people are not down only for the sole purpose of having that. You know, like fix the game. I don't think that you would hear any other different opinion from somebody being like, you know, their boobs jiggle too much. Like, I don't think that it's not going to happen.
A lot of people are trying to be patient with them, but we're 5 months after that terrible update that they admitted was terrible, and they still haven't did anything. Harada said during the beta that combos last too long, and then here we are in season 2 where he gives every character, you know, the ability to do longer combos. So it's like, bro, like, how does that make sense? It's like we're asking for the bare minimum. Like, please allow me to hit my opponent when they whiff all 5 of their hits of their heat smash. Like, that's
exactly.
bare minimum.
There shouldn't be a follow-up to you missing
5 hits of a heat
there should
smash.
Not Yeah, there should not be a follow-up. Like, there should just be no counter to what I'm going to be able to do to you because you missed. There's a lot of casual people who want to play ranked but don't want to sweat like that hard and who don't have time to sweat that hard. I think Tekken 8 as a standalone game may be cooked. I don't think Tekken 8 can evolve past what it is right now without any major changes. Like, the entire game would need to change. It would need to revert back to everything that maybe Tekken 7 was pre DLC, right? Pre 2017. Hopefully the next person in charge would be like, you know what, this isn't what the player base wants. If they don't do it, then they're gonna lose so many players, man. So I don't see that as a financial benefit for the next Tekken. They're gonna keep putting out shit for Tekken 8 because they know people are gonna buy it. In my heart and in my soul, how I think about Tekken, bro, I don't think about Tekken 8, bro. I think about Tekken 3, right? I think about Tekken Tag. I think about maybe Tekken 5 at the latest, like losing on a fair 1v1 at my cousin's house. Like, let's just go 2 PS2 controllers. Let's go. Like, we're going to do it. Do you want to make money or do you want to cater to these people who have been playing Tekken forever?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's the problem because nobody's going to be satisfied with this game. There's always going to be people who are going to complain. The company's issue is how are we going to make the most money? Then we kind of got to realize that it's just not for us.
Now, they only care about the 2025 8-year-olds. Even back then, in Tekken 3 and 5, the adults were playing it. Tekken 3 was for everyone, and it was successful in that.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be, Fortnite the fighting game for it to be popular,
What? It's not like what?
Fortnite the fighting game?
That's pretty funny, bro. It caters to a lot of people. It does.
Yeah.
It does. And I don't disagree with what tech. Like, if I was like, hey, do you want to make money? And Tekken was like, yeah, sure. And I was looking at Tekken 8, I'd be like, great, awesome way to make money. That's fantastic. Good job. But like, what about the people who actually like playing the game? All right, man, I'm like maybe 2 ranked games and I'm good. But like, even then, my friends, dude, they don't even want to play this game because they can't handle having 200 hit combos. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. Let me know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we could just wait. You don't have to talk in the restroom.